So it's
Oh, yeah.
time for us to return again. Because it's been a while, but we're back in 3 and 2 and 1. Welcome back, everyone, to FrameCast number 71. A brand new updated. Actually, it's not really updated FrameCast. It's just kind of like the same. But it's more of the same good old. Because as we were talking about just a second ago, updates aren't always the best, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, you can always hope for the best, but in my line of work, expect the worst.
Yeah, I've also come to expect like updates to always be bad and then be surprised when they're good. I think like the very first time that like I really got to understand that updates aren't always 100% good, because it's always like one of those things where people say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a," or it's updated design, or it's new, or it's changed. Like these are words which people throw around because people tend to feel that they mean goodness. It's like, oh, this thing has a lot of change. This thing has a lot of new, updated stuff, and it's supposed to mean good, but updates can also be bad. And I found that a lot when I started watching YouTube. Like around the time that like the iPod Touch came out, and like I started watching it, and then an update came in and it gave us ads, and an update came in, and then all of a sudden I couldn't play it anymore. My screen locked, and an update came in, and I couldn't use the app anymore, and I had to like download one, and I was like, fuck, this used to be so much better. And then I kind of learned that updates aren't always good.
Yeah.
That said, speaking about good, how are you doing, man? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's I got a holiday tomorrow.
Ooh.
So just chilling out. Trying to get everything sorted out. I don't know if you've seen I'm doing the whole YouTube Shorts thing now. So there's a lot of that happening. What else is there that's going on? YouTube Shorts, streaming with Nazeth, getting ready to do World of Warcraft Arbiters. So just for context, I've had 6 Fridays off in a row, right? Tomorrow is my last Friday off, right? And tomorrow I'm going to basically turn off like Discord and Twitter just so I can get the footage prepared. And so that when I come to start doing the Warcraft Arbiters, known as the War Council, it'll actually happen. Like, I've been so fucking lazy when it comes to actually pre-preparing the footage. I was like, I could do it, or I could just stay in bed.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these times are making it so much harder to be productive. Like I'm feeling it too, because like I don't like, I think we're sort of in the same position that the place where we work from.
Yeah.
And where we have our entertainment and where we sit most of the time is the place like where our work is. Like everything is there. So I'm most of the time actually not in this position. This is the only for like podcasts I get into like this couch position. But otherwise, I'm always sitting in the same spot. I do my gaming in. And it's literally the thing. I'm just sitting there, and it's like, well, I could do that, or I could, like today, I could go and watch all the back catalog of like the Internet Historian, because there was like this one video about the cost of the Concordia or something that was recommended to me like so many times. I was like, I'll watch it, and it's like an hour-long documentary, and he has like 10 more. I'm like, oh, let me go do this.
So one thing that I've been doing, like, I have a full-time job and things, but just for background noise, I'll either have YouTube on, or I'll have I'll have it cycle through different videos from like Markiplier, Playframe, Binging with Babish, what's called Russian Badger, just goes through loads and loads of videos, Game Grumps, you name it. But the more recently, I've been getting my Star Trek fix. So I think many weeks ago, I started watching the 3rd season of Star Trek Discovery. Within 5 minutes, turned it off. Like, no word of a lie, 5 minutes, turned it off. Just fucking no. And then I started watching Star Trek Voyager, and I finished all of Star Trek Voyager. I watched it from start to finish, the whole thing, all 7 seasons.
7 seasons. Damn.
Yeah, I did that in a few weeks. Because like I'd be busy, I'd be programming, I'd be getting my code on, and then I just have this thing on the side. And if it was too distracting, I would stop it and things. But yeah, so I got through all 7 seasons, and now I'm on the 2nd season of Enterprise. So anyway, how have you been doing though? Because we've touched bases briefly on Discord, but I've not been here for a month.
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
the last episode was 2 weeks ago. Actually, it may have been longer because the last episode was 2 weeks ago, and then we had Yannick fill in for you,
yeah.
and we haven't had one since. I think the week before I said like I was taking a break, so it may have been like 6 or 8 weeks or something. It's been like a really
Jeez,
long time.
it has been a long time.
But yeah, no, I've been quite alright. Like yeah, the thing which I'm definitely feeling is what you're describing. It you want to be productive, and then you just sit in the room and it's like, you know,
Nope.
like what one thing which I really miss is really like getting out and like seeing other people in a sense of
Mm,
like I really miss conventions more than I ever thought I would.
yeah.
Because not just for the fact of like seeing everyone, but at the same time, I think something akin to remember when we did the weekly Warframe show, like I would. I would have once a week or once a month or once whenever that came out. I would have to make a video and I would have to make a video and you guys would also be making videos. And then I would
Yeah.
always have this little competition or like yeah in my head or like trying like let me see if it can like beat out what you guys are doing. So sometimes like you had a really like clever like unpopular opinion. I was like, I wanna have a clever joke in there too. Or Xani would have
Yeah.
like a really great synergy build. It was like, oh, I wanna make sure that my videos aren't just funny, but I also want to have some information in there. Or Joey would do something incredibly artistic. I was like, I want to do something with music too, and like that kind of eggs you on to like keep on going and maybe sit like on production like a little bit longer other than right now because it's kind of yes like it comes out but like if it doesn't come out the world still turns so it's kind of like I want to get videos out but at the same time it's also just like if I just watch a video right now I mean like I can work on it tomorrow too and I find that's creeping up on me more and more and more because like I'm sitting in the same space all the time and I'm not really seeing all that many people at all so it's kind of like you know why
Dude,
yeah
I really, really get it. And like, normally I'm all about, just being a nerd and playing them video games and watching them animals. Oh, weeping out, man. Yeah. But like, more and more recently, I've been just craving just going out for food with people. Like, it was hilarious because one of my friends who I haven't spoken to in literal months messaged me saying, like, oh, the busy period is coming to an end at my work. We should meet up and go for like ramen and shit like that. I'm like, fucking yes, I'm down for that.
mm-hmm.
I'm just, I just want to go out and things, but like, obviously, we still got stupid ass lockdown.
Oh man, this is the hardest time. Not just because it's been almost a year, kind of a throwback to like that time when, when like about last year we were doing these discussions where it was like, oh yeah, they're definitely not going to shut down conventions or air travel. Pff, that'd be ridiculous.
Ugh,
They'd never do that. Oh, I've already bought my tickets. They can't do those things. And then right now it's been reality. Like
yeah,
that was a crazy, crazy fucking time. But yeah,
yeah,
it's um what do I want to say? Oh yeah, so like the reason why I find this time a little bit to be on the harder side is because when we started with lockdowns last year, like cases went down gradually as as we were in lockdowns, and then we like at least here in Holland we got a little more freedoms around the summer, but I think you guys in the UK as well. When cases went down, and then we kind of like had
mm,
the second wave coming, which makes sense because everyone's going out, everyone's like people actually went on the holidays and stuff, so like makes sense. And now we've been in the strictest lockdown for about 3 months since the start of the year. We've had curfew where like
yeah.
everything is closed, no one is allowed to visit anyone, and still we're at 5,000 cases a day. It hasn't gone down, and I'm just like, how is this possible? There's just no perspective. It's just all the same shit every single day.
The sad
It's
truth
crazy.
is that there are too many people that just don't abide by the rules. Like, you would hope them to, you'd hope people to actually follow regulations or what have you, but like I still go to the supermarket, so like it's gotten really strict here where you have to wear masks and I still see people in the supermarket not wearing a mask. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, like if I have to wear this fucking thing, you have to wear that fucking thing. you know Also, people don't limit their interactions. Like, again, you're supposed to be 2 meters apart. I went to the supermarket Tuesday night, I think, and like there were 3 staff all within a meter of each other, and it's just like, how are you social distancing at all? You're not. You just playing by your own rules, and that's it's just what it is. Like, you have the smart
Mhm.
people that are actually abiding by the rules, and then you have the people that don't care.
Well,
They think that
well,
it's not going to affect them.
Well, partly, but there's also like two major dangers that like kind of like I mean we've all experienced that basically by this point in time, so we're not really talking anything new. But basically, like
Mm.
what you find is that first of all you have to deal with a lot like pretty much a socially deprived society, where any social interaction with other people is going to be like candy to a kid, and if you just like put a piece of candy in front of a kid and just tell it like don't eat the candy, and you walk away, and like they eat the candy and you come back and it's like, oh, you eat the candy? It's like, yes, I did. Okay, and you put a new
Well, now
candy in
you're going
front
to
of
shit
it.
your pants.
Well,
Yeah.
not well. Like if that was the case,
Yeah.
then they wouldn't do it anymore. But the thing is that because not every single time you interact with someone you get infected. So
Yes.
so like there are there are so many people like there are I think a majority of the interactions. And this is just what I think. So there's no statistics or anything or backing this up. But I think that a majority of the interactions that people have tend to be safe because I don't think that a majority of the people actually are infected. So the thing is like if you get into interaction once, if you get one time too close to like someone that's like too close to you, you're not immediately like sick and dying. So
Hmm.
you're gonna have like a lot of people are gonna have these interactions where they're like, oh shit, I went wrong, and oh nothing happened. Oh shit, I went wrong. Oh nothing happened. Oh nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And that is a really big danger because if you get to have something you really desire and then like nothing bad happens, it's like really tough to like imagine and keep in mind that well there is still a chance, and that's something like kind of like calculating these chances or really seeing these chances like
Yeah.
the way that we see like what are the chances of us winning the lottery. It's like we think that's really like, oh, I got the ticket, I'll win it. Well, it's not really going to happen like that, but we can't really imagine what that possibility is like. So what you're going to find is that people that really crave these social interactions, they're just going to be like, well, I mean, the candy's right there. I've taken it before. And it's kind of
No,
stupid, but
I
yeah.
totally get where you're coming from, because like I think not only do you see people like take the
Mm-hmm.
risk, and then but you also have people that subconsciously take the risk, then go, oh shit, I did the thing I was not supposed to not do,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing bad happened, so that's all right, then I can keep doing it. Then they consciously do it. You also have the people that monkey see monkey do,
Oh yeah.
which is like, well, they're close together, why can't I be close to this person?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, if they're allowed to do it, I'm allowed to do it. I'm like, yeah, but they're not allowed to do it, and you're not allowed to do it. So it's, and that's why I think cases are still like a steady 5,000 a day, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hell, like there's a friend of mine who was suspected that they went out to get a jab, right?
Mm-hmm.
A vaccine jab and things like that, and they traveled to the hospital to get the jab and everything, and they came back with a chest infection, right? But they did the lateral flow test, which is like the quick, I think it's like 90-minute turnaround test sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it came back positive,
Whoa.
right? They then had to go back to hospital to actually check to see whether or not they were infected, and luckily enough they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, for all intents and purposes, you could do the best, best will in the world to, oh, get vaccinated, and then you just end up catching it anyway.
Yeah, that's I mean, like I think that that this discussion is something that a lot of people are having right now. Like the thing which I find is whenever I speak with people, like the topics we get around is Corona. What are you doing right now? Isn't
Yeah,
it like boring being by yourself all the time? What's the
yeah,
weather like? So, other than that, it's like because like like, what are you gonna ask? Like, oh yeah, what have you been up to? And it's like, well, I've been sitting at home like watching some
yeah.
series and like been working. It's like, okay, so me too. Sweet. What's changed? Well, nothing. So,
Yeah.
if you were out there and listening to this and you know the perfect way of like talking about something really interesting, which is just like not necessarily like the weather or Corona or the weather or Corona, let us know. Especially like in casual conversation, we do have some great topics though to get into today, so don't worry, we will not be talking about Corona all the time or the weather. Actually, what's the weather like? No, but let us get through the topics right now. Or like just the overview of the topics. We have Google and Apple are vouching to protect users' privacy. That's a surprise. Setting them apart from Facebook.
Sorry, I love your reaction to that. It's so deadpan. Sorry, yeah, go to the second one.
I mean, yeah, it's what it is. It's kind of like Google does a good thing, and then YouTube comes around and does a bad thing because now international YouTube creators are to start paying tax in the United States. So if you're a creator and you're making money, start paying tax in the United States. What are your citizens? Actually, it doesn't even account for the citizens in the US, so that's crazy. And then we have Roblox goes public, ends up being valued at $38 billion on its first day, beating out EA and Ubisoft in value. And then we also have sweet, juicy EA. EA Gate is something which is going on. It's in the money. It is EA employees caught selling in-game FIFA cards for thousands of euros. That is quite a thing.
Wow. Jeez, I can't wait to get to that topic. Okay.
So, but before we get into that, let's go into what kind of games have you played recently, Drew? What have you been up to?
So, been playing Sinnoh Alice, still on my phone. Earlier today, I picked up another game on my phone. Crap, what was it called? Sand Ship, right? It's just this sort of like little conveyor belt game where you build conveyor belts, you create resources, so on and so forth. It's a dumb little game. It's fun. Been playing a little bit of Warframe, a little bit of World of Warcraft. Been playing quite a bit of Helldivers, but the big thing I've been playing recently is Valheim, right? And it has its moments, right? But like, yeah, just you need a wiki. You need a second monitor just for a wiki.
So as far as I've seen, like I've looked into Valheim a little bit. It's like this. It's like this thinking survival like multiplayer thing. You can also do it by yourself. But other than that, so like it's not really it's kind of like a PvE sort of game where you have like you gotta like fight what is it
do you want me to describe it?
Yeah, describe it, please, because like
Cool,
okay. I've looked at it 2 weeks ago, and then not really anymore. But I've seen you guys like do little bits and pieces.
Yeah. So the best way to describe Valheim is it's basically Minecraft. Vikings Minecraft, right? Ooh. And it's quite cool. The world is massive. We haven't even left the first island yet. The monsters, like we've fought like 2 of the bosses. We've come across like these trolls that are like 3 or 4 times bigger than us. Like they are freaking huge. When I like everyone was kind of freaking out, running away from the trolls, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna fucking take it. I'm gonna fucking go for it. I'm just gonna fucking take it. Fucking. And I was just kiting it around with my bow and arrow, and just like Loz was utterly like gobsmacked that I killed this troll. And yeah, God, what else was there? Yeah, so it is good fun. You can make you can dig and stuff. It doesn't have the sort of like Lego aspect of building tunnels underground and stuff like this. So when you're deforming the terrain, it's always exposed to the air. So if you start digging down and you start digging sideways, you just cut like a sheer cliff off and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, kind of like real life. If you start digging down, you can't really start digging tunnels just by your own hand, by your own shovel. Just like, oh yeah, let's go, kind of.
Well, yeah. So it's a good fun game, especially with others and the hijinks that are involved.
That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. So one of the things which actually came out a couple of weeks ago, which I've been playing, and I think like I've seen you online there as well, is Outriders. Oh, have you enjoyed that?
Oh yeah, I played that really briefly. So I'm interested. I'm wanting to wait for reviews and things. So I've heard people say like, "Oh, there's so many things wrong with it," and so on and so forth. But I just like I want to hear the reviews from other people. But one of the things I I liked the gunplay a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The frequency in which the narrative kept on interrupting gunplay was hell of a lot. It's like, okay, so I'm watching stuff for the same duration of time as I'm killing stuff. That cool, right?
Actually, it was worse at the start. You had about, I think I had for my initial playthrough, I had like an hour and 40 an hour and 45 minutes of recording, and it was like 20 to 25 minutes of gameplay, and the rest was just old cutscenes.
Right,
There was
right.
so much story at the start. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
And to me, it felt like the whole part. So I only got to the point where I think it was giving you your first mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just did like the tutorial and then I just put it down. But the to me, it just felt like the whole bit on the planet at the start could have just been chopped off entirely.
Yeah.
It's just like I didn't need to know that part of the narrative. That part of the narrative is like entirely pointless.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the writing of it is kind of, it's kind of like not the greatest, or at least not my taste. Because the thing is, like, I really like cinematic like stories. I really like games that really focus on
Mm.
what the story is like. Look at Anthem, for example. They kind of like forgot to really include it many times. Destiny just
Mhm.
straight up didn't care to just delete everything. I
Yeah.
probably upset a lot of Destiny, but I'm sorry, Destiny lore fans. But I mean, if it's in the wiki, or if it's like,
Wait,
in
are
the,
there any Dusty Law fans?
there are. I mean, you remember we met the My Name is Bife was at TennoCon. Like, he built his channel on Destiny lore.
There's lore for Destiny?
Yeah, like this guy, like, he built like an entire, like, what was it, like 200, 400, 800,000 like subscriber channel on Destiny lore.
Jeez. Wow.
Unless he just made it all up and everyone just goes with it because no one else can find it, then like
No one could argue otherwise.
they're just like, yeah, sure, sure. But no, normally I like it, but here, the thing which I found is that they tend to talk a lot about things which really in the end don't matter. And I remember, like, when you get to that very first camp, when everything beforehand is still, before everything goes down, like, I thought, like, when we got there, it was like I kind of had this Red Dead Redemption vibes, where you had this camp in the woods and you kind of have to explore the territory, and then maybe later on something happens. It's just like, oh, we gotta find a beacon. We don't know where it is. We don't know where it is. It's like, oh, we found it. It's a short walk away. It's literally just like a short walk away. And it's just like laying there. You can see the camp, and it's like, oh, we found it. Oh, okay, let's go find the other one. Oh no, there's a storm. Oh, and now we start fighting each other, and now everything goes to shit. Go back to Cryosleep, and then the game starts over again. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Come on.
The fact that the game started over again is the thing that really just threw me for a loop. I'm like, well, why did I do that other bit? I don't understand. Anyway.
Actually, one of Bob's best YouTube moments is when he's with me fangirling about like Warframe 2018 TennoCon reveals. Like there is this one moment in, like, after they showed, what was Tenno Life? Oh yeah, the new war. When they showed the new war, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm probably opening up a can of worms, which, oh boy. But like when they showed the new war, like I had we were just all going wild. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be so cool. And I remember, like, one of the people that was like right next to me was like, my name is Bive, and like we're both like, oh my god, what can this mean? Oh, we're gonna have so many things. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, it's gonna be out next year. And yeah,
So wait for that one.
Yeah, gotta wait for that one. But yeah, that's his best moment, along with mine on YouTube, and afterwards it was all downhill, pretty much. I guess.
For life. Oh, that's sad.
Oh man. But yeah, anyway, I'm quite curious to see what Outriders will do. As you say, like, let's go take a look for the reviews. At the same time,
Yeah.
I think that, like, the gunplay is like it's kind of an okay game. I feel. I feel it's okay, and the fact that there is multiplayer in there, I'm like, hey, if there's 4 of my friends that are playing it, I'll play it, and it will be fun. But at the same time, there are better alternatives. I feel. It didn't wow me.
You have a Switch, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you considering getting the new Monster Hunter in a couple of weeks?
I've heard about it. I don't know yet, because I mean, like, I haven't really played that much Monster Hunter games before. I might.
I was just wondering because like it's Monster Hunter games are like the people say that Warframe's tough to get into, right? Monster Hunter is even worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard. Like the learning curve for Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter World is a sheer cliff,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is super. Well, I was just thinking to myself, like if you were gonna get it, then be cool to play together.
Hmm.
Just
I
random
could.
tangent.
I could get it.
Yeah.
Like, does it come out in April or something, or
No, I think it's like towards the end of March, I
towards the end of
thought.
March? Actually, like April. Oh my god, I'm so excited for April. Near Replicant.
Why?
Near Replicant coming up April, right?
Oh
April
yeah,
27th.
yeah. Though I'm still gonna wait for a review, right? Because yes, it is Yokotaro, but it's one of his earlier works.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is before Nier Automata, but I still want to. I still want to know if it like lives up to, because I mean this could just be another remaster of a game that's just like
Yeah.
at the time it was amazing, but now it's just doesn't live up.
Yeah. I
Does that
mean,
make sense?
I definitely like. I don't like pre-orders. I don't like buying things beforehand. So I'm always in favor of like getting the reviews in and then buying it. That said, like I am kind of looking forward to it. Um, but yeah, another like basically final thing that I kind of want to touch on with what have you played? I started playing Subnautica, and it's a fun game. Like it is really really enjoyable. Have you ever played Subnautica?
Oh no, I can't play those games.
Why not?
So I don't like it when I play the sort of like underwater games at all. It sort of like triggers like a protophobia or something like this in me, where something could just like swim up behind me and like bite my leg off or something like that. Like, so when I was younger, back in like, oh God, 98, 99, something like this, when Half-Life 1 first came out
Mm-hmm.
and I was playing that, there's one section and there are these giant underwater fish things,
Mm-hmm.
right? You cannot hear them because you're underwater. So you don't know what direction they're coming from. And like they would just swim up really fast, bite you, and then just go right past you. So you would turn around trying to fucking find this thing, and you just can't find it because it's buggered off already.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hate those sorts of games.
Ah, so that kind of like gave you an in-game trauma sort of thing.
Yeah,
You
pretty much.
could honestly like, oh my god, like water levels and water stuff in games is always not really done all that great. I mean, if I think of water stuff, if I think of like water gameplay, like most I think about is either it's going to be slow, like really really slow. Look at something like Sharkwing compared to Arcwing, where Arcwing was kind of fast and the Sharkwing just felt like this really really slow. It didn't really help that they were just like tiles that you had to maneuver through. So it was just like transportation. There wasn't much going on there, but still, like that's very like you have that with so many games where like if you get in the water, it's so much slower, which I get, but at the same time, it doesn't really make me happy to go for it. And then you have these games. I mean, like I remember with Mario even. If you had underwater Mario levels, like you would always have to like worry about your breathing, and then you had to make sure that like you would have to have a way up, and then sometimes you just couldn't find a way up, and you just died. And like, oh my god, I can really kind of understand where you're coming from with like I don't really like being
Mario
underwater.
underwater breathing?
Yeah, I mean, I think let's see, 64 had it. Um, Odyssey has it right now. The Galaxy had it. Like the newer games
Okay.
definitely have it.
Right, okay. So like I was thinking like the 2D platformers. I don't remember it being in the 2D platformers. But
No,
no, I know where you're coming from because like the original Sonic games, like or Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, whenever there was underwater sections, oh dear fucking like they fucking like to let you know in the most disturbing way possible. Hey, you're running out of air. You better get out or you're going to drown. And whenever Sonic would drown, it was the most like, oh dear God, kind of experience ever. So yeah.
I have the same thing with Sea of Thieves. If you swim on the water, like it doesn't really have a countdown timer or something where like just at a certain point in time you just hear your character like and you just start taking
Yeah.
damage. It's like oh it's so let's move on to community comeback. Ooh.
Yeah.
So last time, I think that was with Unique, or that might have been, I don't know. Last time, at some point in time, we talked about Google Stadia shutting down their development studios. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I've heard about this. The game dev studios. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically all their ongoing projects for like exclusive games for their platform were just shut down because Google just felt like it. They do that sometimes. And this might indicate very well the end of Stadia inside, because Google just likes the end of products sort of things.
Yeah.
So with people having to pay for the games and also having to pay for an online Stadia account, now that Google Stadia might be closing, what, if any, compensation will there be for people who have bought games on it? What do you think?
So in the EU, or definitely the UK, there has to be some form of recompense, because you like legally you can't just pay for access to a service, right? So for example, if Steam was to shut down, Steam legally like has to pay you the money, or give you something of an equivalent value.
Mm-hmm.
So a big case of this was the a lot of digital TCGs, trading card games, and if the trading card game would shut down, like so Hearthstone, if that shut down, but you put X amount of money into it, you are legally within your right to sue Blizzard or Activision for the equivalent amount of money that you put in, because they're taking that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like effectively, if you have my statues, which are lovingly on display right now, if they turned around, so if just someone turned around and said like, "Oh yeah, we're shutting down your shelves, we're taking away all your statues," like, no, I put money into those statues, right? I paid for those statues. Where's my compensation? You can't just take it away from me. So that is something that exists within the UK. So there should be compensation, as long as people know the law and know that they are entitled to that compensation, especially from a company like Google, which are not going away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Google's not going away. It's just Stadia that's going away. And crap, what was the rest of this? Google going away, but I don't know about countries like the US. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know the laws that they have that allow them to, keep this stuff.
So one thing that really pops to mind when we were talking about this is that I think that this might be a very, very interesting turn of events once these like live service online games are shutting down. So basically, I think that around we've had online service games around starting up around with like the Xbox, the first Xbox era, and then the PlayStation 2. They kind of had online services, but not really like you bought the game for it. I really feel that around the PlayStation 4 era, we really started to get, especially on console, like which made it a lot more mainstream, games which like run online where people spend money online. So I'm really wondering, like, let's say that a Call of Duty, which works with like I can buy cosmetics, I can buy battle passes, I can like put a lot of money into this, and you see that a lot of people put money into things. Look at mobile games where like one person spent like over $200,000 on like a mobile game. Like all these games, like there's going to be so many of them, and we're already seeing interesting moments pop up right now, especially for games like Warframe and Destiny and Division, where if they like want to consist on as a live service to like the next so many years, like at a certain point in time, like they're going to have to move over to like the next generation PS5 and Xbox Series, and they're gonna have to stop supporting or not support with the latest build the ongoing the outgoing models, because at a certain point they won't be able to keep up. And it's like, okay, so like you're gonna have to migrate accounts. How is that gonna happen? I think that we're gonna be seeing that soon as well. But this is something where there's so many games out there right now where you can buy things online for that game. And I am sure that in 50 to 60 years, these games will not be around any longer, because there's going to be new games. However, in opposition to like the old previous games that were there like 30 years ago, like these games were just, you bought it and it was like on a disc and you owned the disc, and if the disc broke, that was your fucking fault. But these online games, they need to be run on servers all the time. So like a company can't just keep the servers up and be like, oh, I mean, no one's playing it, but I mean, we got to keep it up because people have money into it. Like at a certain point in time, like if it's not profitable for them anymore, like they're gonna have to shut down these servers. But then what's gonna happen with like these laws, which is very rightfully so, if you bought something digitally and someone is like deciding to take it away, it's like, well, yeah, you're gonna have to replace that. But like, how many like reimbursements and like what form is gonna happen at some point in time when most of these services, which came up at around this time frame, like over the last 10 years, are going to be shut. Like that's going to be such an interesting time, and I'm really curious
So
to see like what's going to happen with that.
so the big thing is like something to really highlight is that when you're buying a really simple one is Hearthstone, right? So Hearthstone, you are buying these digital cards. Yeah. After X period of time, Activision goes, oh, we're a bunch of dickheads. We're going to shut down Hearthstone, right? Now, they can either give you back the monetary worth of what the cards are worth, right? So you put in 50 pounds into Hearthstone, they give you back, the equivalent of 50 pounds worth of cards, right? So this is the important thing. They could literally just print out en masse all the cards and then just send you the cards. There you go. There's your entire collection. It's there physically in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just print it out on pieces of paper. There you go. Job done.
But what would you say for like skins for characters, or even like characters like, let's take for example the Prime Axes in Warframe, where you buy a Prime character, digital character, like online, for a substantial amount of money. Like let's say at a certain point in time in the far future, hopefully, Warframe might have to shut down because there's something new. Then like what would happen with that?
So I think the big thing for a platform like Warframe is, or any of these platforms, is how much love there is for the platform. So say Warframe has 50 million registered users, blah 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 blah, and all these people are playing Warframe. But then, like the Steam charts, I think the current daily average is 40,000 people play Warframe a day, right? So if all of a sudden Warframe, disappeared, yeah, they have 50 million registered users, but with regards to Steam, and I can't speak for any of the other platforms, only 50,000, 60,000 people are going to give a shit that it's disappeared. That's not an insequential number, but imagine it a game that has trickled off to the point of Marvel Avengers, right? Less than 1,000 people per day. Yeah. If that went away, I just don't think people would give a shit.
I mean, I wonder because like you do raise a very valid point that people actually have to like show up and stuff and actually like put time into it, and you find so many times that people can actually show up for many things and influence many things, but like who cares? However, I don't think that you can entirely safely bank on that as a game company, especially like this is especially where like troublesome. Let's say that you have one game that's going very well, but because like interest has been dwindling so much, you kind of run out of capital that you can't even run the service anymore. At a certain point in time, they're just like, well, fuck it, we can't really do it anymore. We're kind of out of money, we're kind of out of interest. We've run our course, done. However, like let's say that they're done. Okay, so anyone that has bought something because of regulations, you can claim it via this. Let's say that someone just posts out on like Reddit or on Twitter, and they're just like, hey, if you've ever played this game because it was very popular 20 years ago, you can go claim your stuff. Everyone go claim their stuff. And if that becomes a meme, then I mean, legally they're all in their right to like claim back their stuff or like claim something, and that could be very very troubling. So I think that, yes, I mean, it's kind of like the rebates thing where companies kind of like bank on people like not really submitting them and forgetting about it. But at the same time, I don't think that would be the strategy that I'd be 100% safe with going and like making sure like, yeah, people are so going to forget about it because like in case they do live up to their rates, it's like, might be troublesome.
Well, look at Warcraft 3 Reforged. All the people that bought into that, it's been an entire year. There's no update to it whatsoever.
Oh, and like actually, Destiny 2. like
Yeah,
what is going on with that? Because basically they deleted their base game, and their two expansions, which are all like $60 each.
yeah.
How did
You
that?
know,
How was that legally allowed to happen? Actually,
um, they could argue because they're not shutting down the servers and you still have access to the game in a limited capacity that like the other rules and things don't actually apply.
mm-hmm.
Um, but the yeah, I mean, like we've had issues before, like people saying like, I honestly think that it is the veterans of Destiny are just gonna like drift away from it, and the only people that would be interested are the potential new players that want to play the new content straight away. They'll be able to, but any of the older people that have already experienced content. I mean, there was an article on what was the sorry, give me 2 seconds, I'll quickly find
Mm-hmm.
it. Gaming, where's my gaming column? Gaming column. Oh no, gaming news. There we go. Destiny. Bungie opened a bit more about vaulting in Destiny 2. What gets vaulted, what comes back, and why Forsaken will eventually be going away.
What? That is
Yeah.
insane.
So they're
Forsaken
already
so far is like the best thing that in my mind, Destiny has made.
and like so they're already preparing to get rid of the next on the chopping block for this sort of stuff. And yeah,
Honestly,
I
that
mean,
just blows my mind. Like seriously, I really thought that Destiny was on this track of becoming this game where like basically like if you wanted to play it for like it was starting off like free to play. You got these like expansions for free, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. Like this game, even though like it might not be entirely my cup of tea in the way that they treat certain things, I do like the gunplay a little bit. There are aspects of Destiny which I really enjoy. I'm like, this could be such a great game where basically what you have is instead of like having to buy a base game and then buy every single expansion for like full price, which could be quite costly. Like what they have right now is you have this free to play model sort of thing where like you can be like 2 or 3 expansions behind. Like if you want to catch up with everything, like you just have to buy them. But otherwise, like they're always gonna become free, and then like you can play. But no, they're just saying if like the thing that you bought like a couple years ago, which we hyped up, like we're just gonna delete. I'm like, yo, like that is actually quite bad. I know that sometimes people in Warframe complain about, oh, we don't get that many updates, and oh, it takes a long time. But at least your game is not being deleted and like
yeah, it's true.
constantly deleted, and like there's a roadmap to what's gonna go away. Can you imagine like they just delete the second dream and it's like, yeah, and next up this is war with it. I'm like, what?
No.
What are we talking about? That is crazy.
Yep.
Oh man. The one thing which I kind of wonder about is whether this might be something where, because there's no precedent sort of thing, like the law is there, but no one has ever like really gone ahead and did the lawsuit. That because there is not really a precedent out there, that people don't really know what to do. But like, let's say that something happens, like something like this happens at a certain point in time. Maybe someone like that has a lot of time right now can look into the legality of like Destiny deleting their DLCs, and if they find that legally in the UK or in the EU, like it's not allowed. Maybe someone could just like look into like, hey, is there something that people can claim money back, or people can claim something? And I think if that like is something which can happen, and people have the right to that, and then let's say that case gets filed and they win, and it becomes like a major news headline, it might be that people actually might be like, yo, hey, let's check into other things, because I think that this might be something which a lot of people just don't know about.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there's there's no law in play that like covers this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh well, what about partially removing a product? Well, is there a precedent for doing it? You get the idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on to the
Yes,
next point?
let's move on. Speaking of digital things with prices, let's talk about the titular topic of EA employee caught selling in-game FIFA cards for thousands of euros. Oh boy. EA hasn't been in the news for a while, and they come back fighting strong with some very, very interesting stuff. So basically, Yesterday, messages came forward in some tweets about an EA employee selling rare digital trading cards free via Twitter DMs for insane amounts of money. Whilst these messages are still unconfirmed, but they seem rather like not doctored at all, the prices that they're mentioning there range between 750 to 1700 euros for special icon cards, which are digital cards. Players are known to have spent thousands of pounds and euros on these packs to try and obtain these super rare icon cards, and EA has been criticized for not revealing the exact probability about the chance of obtaining these cards, so that people just spend more money on like rolling these packs. I have the messages right here. This has been posted right here, and basically you find like people are paying 2,500 USD for R9 moments and 1,000 USD. Sounds good. Can I ask you how you provide the cards, because that wasn't very clear? I just need your PSN EA ID, and we send them every Monday. That's one of the texts. I won't risk a ban, right? They're coming straight from EA. Let's see. There, you have some pictures of happy customers. There's no risk. I can't tell you exactly how because of security reasons. But yeah. So there is a lot of things going on where you could just like message one of the employees and be like, "Hey, can I have something?" It's like, "Yeah, here." The price for free cards is 750 euros, and the price for free plus two something is 1,000 euros. I can give a friend's price, so 600 for free or 800 for like. There's a lot of money apparently that's trading hands here, and these DMs don't look too good.
No, that's like there's sus, and then there's that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised that this is happening at all, because this is a gold mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That people are it's a gold mine that people are
Exploiting because you can.
No, tapping into,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because effectively, oh, okay. So here's a simple way of metaphor. Everyone knows loves his metaphors,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have a literal gold mine. You
Yeah.
are sending people into said mine to mine out said gold, right? Fairly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what stops one of these miners for literally just pocketing some of the gold, right? Similar situation. You've got developers writing the code to create this gold mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's to stop a developer from just pocketing some of the gold?
Or
Yeah.
or like even better, like you're literally just printing money by a press of the button, because like these cards have like basically these cards normally when it comes to like Pokemon cards or stuff which have this insane high value, it's like a piece of cardboard which like practically is just like worthless, but because it's so rare then people love it and people will spend a lot of money on it. But digital cards are even better because it's just data. And if you are in control of like the backend and you can like give certain things to certain people, it's literally just you can do a few clicks, or like I don't know exactly how it goes, but you do a few clicks and like you have something, you have just provided yourself with 1,000 euros. It's literally printing money without even printing anything because it doesn't cost you individually anything. You don't even have to like give the gold. You can just duplicate it and you just like give it out, and doesn't like, you can still have the thing in your hand.
It would be really interesting to God, how do I describe this? It'd be interesting to know what has to happen in order for this to work out, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for someone to just get the cards, like this would indicate to me that there's no checks and balances, that people aren't illegally receiving this content.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying, for example, you have a system where you're on the PlayStation and you buy the latest DLC for Destiny, right?
Yeah.
So you buy the latest DLC for Destiny, you put money into system then goes, checks and balances, has the payment gone through? Yes, it has. Right, now give them access to the DLC for Destiny. Comes back, yeah, we've successfully given them access to DLC for Destiny. Goes forward, you now have access to that DLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for some strange reason, this middleman is being skipped entirely. So my question is, when all of a sudden this expansion becomes available to this player over here, right? Why isn't the middleman going, well, how do they get access to it?
Yeah, I mean that is indeed worrying. I mean, as Panda here in chat says, it's kind of like a pseudo e-currency. It's like a really bad e-currency because there is not a like it doesn't keep track of like what it is. I mean, like it would basically be as if you would have like crypto right now. You would have like Bitcoin, and you could just just give yourself like 10 Bitcoin by just like changing a number, and like there nothing checks or verifies it. It's just like there you have it. It's fine.
On a very minor slight tangent, because you've raised up like Bitcoins. If anyone's interested in getting into cryptocurrency, please be very, very fucking careful. A lot of them are actual scams, right? A lot of the big thing is that the cryptocurrency is supposed to be the new like gold standard. There is a limited number of Bitcoins that can be generated. That is true, but the difference between the Bitcoin standard and the gold standard, right? Gold, if you have a gold nugget and you crack it in half, you have two halves of a gold nugget. So if this is worth 100 grams, you crack it in half, these are both worth 50 grams. You crack them in half, all four pieces are worth 25 grams, right? The problem with a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is that you have one Bitcoin, but you can divide it an infinite number of times, right? Because it is a number it's a number very similar to pi, right? 3.1415 da da da, right? Pi has no definitive end. So you can break up a Bitcoin as many times as you like. So this house costs 1 Bitcoin. Tomorrow, this house costs half a Bitcoin. Day after, this house costs quarter of a Bitcoin. So on and so forth. It can get broken down infinite number of times.
And also something like, which is also something you got to be wary of, is if you get into stocks, like there are these market manipulation rules, but they're not in place for crypto. So a lot of these currencies are also like they're like the people that make them or the people that control them. They're also out there just paying people, influencers, to go and like raise awareness for about this thing, and people buy in, and then like meanwhile they just sell everything they got, and it's perfectly legal because like that framework is not in place, and like watch out for that. So don't really like not every single time that Elon Musk just like tweets something, just be like, oh hell yeah. Not saying that he is being paid, but I mean, I don't know. So just be careful and make sure that you invest wisely. We're not here to give financial advice because I don't think we're the last people that you want to have financial advice from, I guess.
Well, just be careful. That's all I'm saying. I think that's all you're saying. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Do your research.
One thing which I kind of wanted to get into is not just the fact that this happened, but like these cards systems, these digital cards. The thing which I find is, remember like the entire loot box situation, the entire loot box debate, that, people basically said, well, loot boxes in games, they're just gambling for kids right now, or gambling for gamers, and it actually should be illegal. And then people's defense was, but this is very, very similar to just Pokemon cards because you buy something and you don't know where you're going to get the good one, and we've been okay with that for a long time. And I actually feel that, well, is it all right that we've been okay with that for a long time? Because, like, basically what people said, well, you still get the physical cards. But then, okay, so, if you still get the physical cards, then why is this digital thing not a loot box if the cards were, like, the physical version of the loot box, and then this is the digital... What?
So the difference... So my father actually worked on some of the very first slot machines or fruit machines in the UK. Right? We're talking many, many years ago. And some of the interesting stuff about how the code works is that it reacts to the user, right? So, for example, with a pack of Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards, the contents of the cards, the contents of the pack does not change dependent on the user.
Yeah.
Right. But with slot machines, they are designed to make a small profit per hour,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with fruit machine, so I put in a pound, I fail, right? I put in another pound, I get 50, I get a pound 50 back,
Mm-hmm.
right? I put in another pound, I lose that pound. I put in another pound, I get £2 50 back, right? So it is still it's giving you this false sense of reward
Mm-hmm.
because you are winning money, you're winning your own money back, you're actually still at a loss without realizing it, right?
Okay. So
Now,
it's that intelligent part or like that reactionary part where like they're changing the game while you're playing it, whereas like the cards they're not changing as you like hold them.
yes. So the big thing with actual slot machines, if you go to a casino and you're playing with a slot machine,
Mm-hmm.
the slot machine is designed to make money per X amount of period of time, right? This is why in a lot of casinos, you'll always, there's that stereotype of the old lady that will watch someone use a machine and then when they eventually give up, before it's given a huge payout, they'll give up, no payout, they'll quickly go to it, and then they'll finish it off and get the huge payout,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the other person was really close to getting the payout. The slot machine can't tell the difference between the people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, one step further, with loot boxes, you know who the person is exactly,
Mm-hmm.
right? I only have access to my Hearthstone account. You only have access to your Overwatch account. Zandy only has access to his Battlefront account. Joey only has access to his. I'm going to say Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah.
I'm running out of ideas now. But the whole point is that the the company has a complete model of how much you have spent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they know, ooh, if we let him get a legendary right now, he will spend what you call another big lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they can also try with, okay, let's say that we give you a legendary to start, and then you keep on buying for like 4 more turns, and then you stop. But okay,
yeah.
so what if we up the fourth turn give you another one, and then you
Oh.
continue on going, and like you like they can also just be like, oh, here's a free roll again, and like let's say that we give them a free roll, like if we give a free roll like once every month, does that get them going or once every week, and how much like yeah they can really like run the algorithms on that and really
Yeah.
find for you specifically what will make them the most profit. Yeah,
The
see.
big thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
like going back on what you were saying at the beginning of this, was I do not think loot boxes should be illegal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just think they should be age restricted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be 18 in order to gamble, like in a casino. So you should be 18 to play these games with loot boxes or to have the loot box feature enabled.
Well, the thing that I wonder about is that uh, I'm kind of thinking about this in the sense of, on the one hand, I really believe that people should be free to do whatever the fuck they want, especially like if they want to do something that hurts them. It's like, well, I mean, who am I to stop them if that's their conscious decision? So if you want to go into a casino and gamble away with your money, I can see that. But at the same time, what you're saying with these slot machines is that like if you put in money, like it's assigned to make a profit. That seems like a really bad deal. Like, why would anyone throw money into something if you only win your own money back? Like, that seems like a big fucking scam. And like, scams are illegal for a reason because, like there is no benefit, no potential benefit in any of it. So I mean, for slot machines, I can totally see what the benefit is. Like, if you are the lady that's like watching until like someone gives up and you come in, like you're not winning back your own money. You could put in a pound and like win 20,000, and that's not your money. And like that is a fair deal. I mean, like that's up to you. What do you want to do it? However, if you have your own personalized slot machine, that's also like working with like algorithms behind it. Like you're working against something that's designed to make them money and like make you lose all the time, and it's your personalized machine. Like you're not going to be able to like tune into someone else's machine and then like get the profit there. Like there is just virtually if the entire goal of this thing is to make money for the company, there's no way that you can profit. The only way that the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose. And I don't know whether that's the same as this slot machine, which is designed to make the company profit, but at the same time doesn't distinguish between different sorts of people. So there's still this thing where like you can come out more profitable than you already were. So it's not entirely a scam.
So to me, it's so yeah, a slot machine isn't entirely a scam, right? Because I mean, like I said, you had the old granny. The old granny could manipulate the situation, wait for the payout, and then jump on it. But oh god, what's the name of the other thing?
The
The
loot
old
box
granny.
or
But the loot boxes are entirely like so. Say, when you're printing cards, you could say that there is only this many cards in existence, right? The people out there are able to say, "Oh yeah, no, but I have an additional card, so on and so forth." So you can call the companies out for that kind of thing. But when it's digital, they can manipulate the situation entirely, right? I mean, someone pays £80 to play Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they're told that they have to. What was it, 120? No, I think it was 120, and they had to play 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck, even?
I mean, I think it would be different. Like, let's say that the system is set up in such a way, and like it has to be set up in such a way that like a general public pool of loot boxes is created, and whenever you buy a loot box, then you grab that from the pool, sort of thing. So they sort of like it like right now it's just like being generated for you, so it's your slot machine. But when it's this thing where if I put in money, like I grab the first one off the pile automatically, then it's kind of like grabbing like the first set of Pokemon cards that are like in the box, and that's determined, and you could have grabbed that or someone else could have grabbed that, and the contents would be the same. I think that would be more fair, where like, because then it's like the system is designed to profit, just like the slot machine profit the company, but at the same time it's not designed to make you specifically lose all your money, because you could also run away with a profit. Whereas like if the slot machine is focused solely on you, like there is no way you're going to make a profit unless you beat the system. But like that's going to be really tough, because like they're going to try and patch that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that is that is as much as we have on that thing. I do wonder like how many people knew about this thing, about this EA stuff, and whether EA was aware of it. Like they deny it so far. I mean, they're probably never going to bid it, but like there is definitely some security flaws here.
I mean, one thing could be it's just someone pretending that they're. I mean, could you just envision like someone says like yeah if you send me the if you send me the 700, 800, whatever euros, right? And then they just buy they just buy the pack. They'll just send the pack on.
Yeah, but like I mean, they also provided a screenshot of like the cards actually being given into the account, like the actual cards that they were buying, sort of thing.
Promised.
Yeah. So
interesting.
It seems as though, and like this is just in the game. So I mean, like I think we're gonna hear more about this or not. We'll see how it goes. But let's move on to the next topic. Let's see. Oh boy, which one shall we pick? Which one shall we go into? Let's go with a surprise. Google and Apple vouch to protect users' privacy in a very shocking twist and turn of events, setting them apart from Facebook. Wow. Whoever thought that would happen? So Google has released a blog post last week or 2 weeks ago announcing that they want to take extra steps to protect users' privacy. Whilst this may sound a lot like this corporate mumbo-jumbo, Google actually stated that they want to start phasing out third-party cookie tracking. So they want to do away with like the third-party cookies that we, thanks to GDPR, like have to be always reminded of whenever we go onto sites, which is good, but at the same time, like it just goes to show how omniscient, like how omnipresent they are. However, Google has also promised to not build alternative identifiers to track individuals as they browse across the web. It's kind of like, because like Google's main revenue comes from like tracking individuals and selling those ads, it kind of sounds like someone, no, I promise I will never ever try to get money from you again. But I mean, they seem honest as they're saying it. They say like, well, we'll never use it. We will not build any alternative identifiers, nor will we use them in any of our products. The reason that they say that they're moving towards this more privacy-focused thing is because they're quoting studies where 72% of the people feel that almost all of what they do online is being tracked by advertisers, and technology firms or other companies. And 81% of the people that were like surveyed say that the potential risk that they face because of data collection outweighs the benefits of like the services they use, according to a study by the Pew Research Center. So over the last few months, like Google hasn't just been alone. Apple and Facebook have also been clashing over privacy. Most notably, with Apple moving to have people opt in to be tracked by Facebook whenever they install the app, and Facebook saying that this opt-in feature would break the internet because the internet is based around having ads, and like when people like have to opt in, they're most likely not going to opt in, and that's going to cost them a lot of money. So they have been very much clashing against Apple about that, and not too happy. But it seems these two companies, especially Apple and Google, moving towards more privacy-focused things, is something I would have not expected at any point in time. Something which may have to do with it is that privacy and personal data, is becoming a lot more important these days, especially towards lawmakers who are catching up to like what's happening with our data. So it might be that they're just trying to be ahead of regulation so they don't have to suffer regulation. What do you think?
Oh God, there's loads of really good points to that. So first off, I know this was announced by Apple some time ago. I think this is a very largely desired thing. I do genuinely think that there's a lot of people out there that want to protect the data, protect the privacy and all that shit. And I think that Apple have twigged that there's a market there for people to obscure that, to not be tracked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Apple have gone, well, if we tap into this market, maybe people will use iPhones instead of Google phones, instead of Android. I also think that you're right with this whole potential tracking stuff. Maybe there's a legislation that they've caught wind of and they want to get ahead of it. But I also think that there are things like for what Facebook are doing, and there's no opportunity to opt out. There's no level of protection. Like are you aware of the whole? Oh God, what's the name of the damn thing? It happened towards the start of this year where Facebook decided, oh yeah, WhatsApp is now going to start sharing your data with and a part of me feels like this is the reaction from, because WhatsApp lost millions of users when Facebook announced that. So I think that this is potentially a reaction to that. I think Google doing this is because they don't want to not keep up with Apple, right? Considering Google are to me personally, Google is the company for targeted advertisements.
Yep.
Right? So I agree with you. I'm shocked that Google has said this.
Can I offer a counterpoint maybe where maybe this might not be so good? So
go on.
You say that Google is like the leading thing in targeted advertisement. Why would they stop doing targeted advertisement if they their targeted advertisement techniques have relied on like cookie tracking, third-party cookies? So why would they give that up? Unless they have a more advanced, better technology where they can track you without needing these third-party technologies and not needing the exact thing, like these alternate identifiers to track individuals. Maybe they found something which doesn't use that but can still track you. Because they're saying we're not going to use that. Don't trust anyone that uses that. No one can it's basically being discouraged that people place third-party cookies, and that kind of means that unless you have the technology that Google has, you're never going to get into the targeted advertisement space. So basically what they're saying is this is we may have something which is way better than what's out there, and we're just going to say that we're going to be the only ones that are really going to be doing the tracking, because we're just going to make all other forms of tracking just very unpopular, because we're saying no one uses that, we're not going to track you, but we still have a way, which you're not going to find.
That is actually quite possible. I mean, I'm not the sort of person to think Google are particularly evil and demonic in their activities,
Mm-hmm.
but I know plenty of people that don't trust Google with a 10-foot barge pole. So um I'm trying to think now. This also could be a way to just deal damage to their competitor. So like I think if Facebook couldn't do the targeted advertisements, I wonder how much money they would lose if they couldn't do the targeted advertisements anymore.
I'm
And
really curious because like the thing with Facebook, I haven't used it in ages, but the thing which I've heard is that Facebook's strategy is very much on like integrating the ads like so much into your timeline that you don't even notice it. So they really rely on like getting to know you as best as they can, so that like it feels like it's part of the experience. And if tracking you becomes an issue right now, like I mean, you can see already with like how hard they're fighting back on Apple on like the opt-in thing, which like Apple is not even saying like we're not allowing you to track our use anymore. It's like they just have to opt in, and they're fighting it like really fucking hard. Like that just goes to show like how important it is for Facebook that they have that data.
yeah. So, but the thing is, like, a company would fight tooth and nail for just 5% of the revenue loss,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, again, like, the problem is for us, we don't know if they're just losing like 1% or 90% of their revenue,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, regardless of that, I do think that what Apple from the surface level, I do think what Apple and Google are doing is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that you should be able to turn off targeted advertisements. I mean, hell, I was talking to Loz last night, and he plays a mobile game on his phone. I can't remember which one, and he just turned around to me and said, like, I keep getting adverts for like, oh god, medical, so no, scientific research machines, because he's gone on like Google or whatever, or Safari or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and he's looked up these different research methods and stuff like this, because that's his job. And then he went on this app and he's playing these games, and all of a sudden he's getting targeted adverts for like these multi-thousand-pound machines. And it's like, I'm playing a fucking mobile app, right? I'm not going to spend thousands on a fucking, I don't know, brain scanning machine. It's like I spend like $2 a time. Like, where targeted adverts, shit.
Have you told them to start
Yeah.
watching your videos already? Because most of the time, like these very expensive things that are being advertised, most of the time pay very good ad net revenue. So who knows? If
Yeah.
like that's like that was like a time in YouTube where people started talking about like Rolexes and cars and stuff to get those good ads, to see if they could trick the algorithm. Um,
Really?
yeah, I don't know like how much of a meme that was and how much it really worked, but like that was definitely a thing. Um, I mean, like the tracking thing. I feel that the internet has definitely become this place where everyone is kind of wary, but it's like something we have to deal with. Like you know this thing with the terms of service where people is all like, yeah, but you agreed to it. Oh, you are probably a dumb user that didn't read the terms of service. Like, why do you just click accept? Why don't you read the entire thing? It's your fault for not reading that entire thing. If you had read it, then you would have known. It's like, well, this is the thing. Even if I read it, and even if I find things which are absolutely like I don't like, I can't use the service unless I agree. And a lot of times, when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to Twitch, when it comes to like WhatsApp, like Signal's out there, but right now, but WhatsApp used to be like the main standard in Europe. When it comes to these servers, when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to like engaging with the people that I want on Facebook, not anymore, but like back in the day, like you can't say no, like because there's no other way about it. Like if I
Yeah.
want to use it, I gotta say accept, even if I disagree with what's in there. So I might as well just not read it because like the knowledge that I have about that terms of service thing, like it's not gonna do anything because I'm gonna have to click accept anyway. And I feel that a lot of people are like in that where they're just like, I mean, like, I really fucking hate it. If I could choose differently, I would, but there's just no other option.
No, I completely agree. I think that so I do think that there is some good behind this, and I do hope that there isn't some evil secret plan to exploit this. Like, oh yeah, we've prevented these apps from doing this targeted advertising stuff. By the way, do you want to what you call buy into our targeted advertisement service. Anyway,
Oh
should we
man.
move on to the next topic?
Speaking of actual evil things, international YouTube creators to start paying tax in the United States.
Oh my
Oh, jolly.
god.
This week, YouTube sent an email to its creators all around the world announcing that they, if they don't live in the United States, have to start paying tax to the United States of America, even if they don't reside there or are a citizen there. Actually, U.S. citizens are exempt from this. So basically, anyone that isn't in the U.S. They say, we are reaching out because Google will be required to deduct U.S. taxes from payments to creators outside the U.S. later this year, as early as June 2021. Creators have until May the 31st of this year to provide their tax info, or Google will be able to deduct 24% of their earnings for U.S. tax. This change to how YouTube handles tax comes from the U.S. government, especially under their U.S. Internal Revenue Code. Google has the responsibility to collect tax info from all monetizing creators outside the U.S. and withhold taxes where income is earned from viewers in the U.S. So basically, this means that not all the income will be affected, but the income that you have gotten for like people that were watching you for the U.S., you will have to pay tax over that. This change won't affect creators in the United States, but will affect the rest of the world. So YouTube needs to have the updated tax info by the end of May. Otherwise, the cut will be made, which obviously will be like bad for a lot of people that rely on the platform. This thing has just come around. A lot of creators started like advertising their Patreon because like this is not great, and at the same time, it makes me wonder like, does this set a precedent where basically you're just going to lose all your revenue because every single country's like, hey, if the United States can do that, why can't we? And you're just going to like every single country say like, well, we want to have 20%, 24% of your earnings. Please give us 24% of your earnings. And like, you already have 50% of your like ad revenue already going to Google. It's like, I don't know, like to someone that's not very like well up to date with like international income tax law and stuff like that, it seems a bit very silly.
The problem is that if this is a law that's implemented by a government, there's nothing a company can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's.
But I mean, like,
Yeah,
but
jeez.
I can get that, but at the same time, it's like because it's such an international thing, like, what is stopping? Like, let's say that like there is a government which is like, well, you know what, we want to make some money. It's like we're going to implement a law where you don't have to pay 24%, 50% tax for all international creators, and like everyone that's affected by this tax can't vote for these representatives if they're a democracy. They might even not be a democracy, and then like, what are you going to do about that? You're just kind of fucked. And like every single person on the entire world like now has to pay money to a government that doesn't represent them, that they can't vote for, and doesn't provide services back to them. Like, you know, like this thing where like, wasn't that like the motto of the US, like no taxation without representation? It's like, look at what you've done now.
I just found it now. The stupid thing was that there was this banner at the top of my YouTube channel that's saying like, you know, oh, make sure that you do this thing. Don't forget to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then it just disappeared entirely. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. But yeah, no, I got into my AdSense account and I can actually see it there now. So it's crazy. I mean, like, I do feel that if you want to support a content creator, realistically, the best way to do so is through a platform like Patreon or you know, pick something else. You know, Ko-fi. Twitch is even better than you know YouTube's revenue output. But you know what? I mean, the problem is that you have countries all around the world, like VAT, right?
Yeah.
So VAT is a European tax.
Yeah.
We're no longer in the EU. Why are we still paying VAT?
Well, actually, like I actually saw a video of a from Lewis Rossman who's like who ships stuff from his own store as well, and he ships to the UK.
Yeah.
And I think that since the start of this year, like if you want to ship something to the UK, you got to pay VAT. Like you as your store, you got to pay tax to the UK government. So he's just said like, I'm not going to be shipping any goods anymore to the UK because now I have to like be registering my store as like a store in the UK, and I have to pay the VAT on my product myself. I'm not entirely aware of like what the exact details were, but basically it was like if you ship to the UK, you as your store, you got to pay a tax. I think it was like I don't know, but yeah, like you have to pay a tax like as though you were a UK store, even though you're not in the UK. And he was like, "Well, I'm just not going to ship to the UK anymore because it's ridiculous." And I mean, I just find it strange. I just it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, if a government demands it, like companies can't say no. But at the same time, this affects like very much like international people will have no say in what the government does. And it's like, I mean, if they can do it, then why can't another country? And like, are we not going to end up in a point in time where everyone's just like imposing taxes on like other people? Like, we're just going to impose all our taxes on everyone but our own citizens because fuck, they can't do anything about it. Like, that would be really, really bad.
Mm. No, I agree entirely. I think that the so a lot of the problem between the UK and the EU, like the whole premise is that they want to people still want to sell stuff within the EU, but like sorry, within the UK, but the UK is no longer part of the EU, so there's no free trade.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, if the UK wants to sell anything to the EU, it has to pay a tax. Any
Yeah.
UK company to sell anything to the EU has to pay an EU tax. And likewise, what this person is saying, if he wants to sell anything to within the UK, he has to pay a tax. And like, yeah, but it goes both ways. Like, you know, I mean, you're unfortunate that you're selling into the UK. What about
Mm-hmm.
the poor fuckers that have to sell out of the UK?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, but we've seen it with like the Brexit situation, which kind of like happened at the start of the year, where like now you've really left the EU, and like basically buying from the UK is no longer a thing that people really do here because like it's just going to be that much more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, like honestly, like I'm not from the UK, but like I've always found Brexit a really strange move, and it's been a very controversial thing in the UK as well. So
It really, really has. But like at the same time, like you know about the whole shit with the vaccine.
mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the year, Boris Johnson just turned around and spent money like there was no tomorrow to buy up I think the German brand of the COVID vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
right? He bought up like God knows how much. And then after many umming and ahhing, the EU turned around and said like, right, we want to buy up the vaccine. Germany says, right, you'll have to wait so many months.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why? Because the UK have bought the vaccine. And then no. We're the EU. We get first dibs, right? It's like no. EU law says that we have to fulfill who first come first serve. The UK was first, so we give to the UK first, and then they're trying to prevent it because they're trying to do. And then I think Australia has bought the vaccine from Italy or something like this. Loz knows more about this than I do. But like Australia's bought the vaccine from Italy. Italy of then the EU goes, right, we'll take the Italian vaccine. Italy's gone like, no, we've got to service Australia. It's like, but they've never been part of the EU. Yes, but your law states first come, first serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot impose your rule to confiscate this stuff, right? And there's now talks of like other countries leaving the EU. So like, what was it? Grexit, Frexit, Nexit. Like, there's loads of countries now talking about leaving the EU because.
I mean,
Yeah.
like honestly, like that would be a fucking disaster because I really don't want to like go on holidays anymore and like have to like sit on border patrols and like wait, and that would be horrendous. But like
No, but I think that if like, because one of the ones was the Netherlands, if the Netherlands turned around and said like, oh yeah, we're going to leave the EU as well, nothing stops the Netherlands and the UK from turning around and saying like, do you want to do a trade partnership? Right?
Mhm.
And then basically, you've got two trade partnerships that are sat right next to each other, right? Italy, Germany, UK, Netherlands, trade partnership. France, Spain, other places, trade partnership,
And
right? So
and and let's say that like these trade partnerships individually like all join hands together, and we'll call that like a union. And where will that be? Oh, that will be situated in Europe, and we'll just call it the European Union 2.0. And then like everyone, but like I mean, it's an entire situation where I know only very
no, you
surface
got
level.
you got it wrong. You got it wrong, right? So you're very close. You're very
Yeah.
close. Instead of a union, will be a federation, a trade federation.
Well,
I hope you get that reference at least.
we will indeed, and then we'll start making a lot of. We'll invest in our AI capabilities in our AI.
Yeah, and we'll
Like,
put a border around Naboo. I mean, what?
at some point we'll just
Trade
like
blockade.
we'll just come around to like some unsuspecting kingdom, and we'll just like come in with like these very very big brown looking like airships, and then we'll just be like, yes, this is ours now. Yeah, but if you're not from the EU, please forget about that. Thank you. But like bringing this for like closing thoughts on like this YouTube thing, I do think that there's two thoughts in my mind when this comes around. Number one is you shouldn't really be dependent if you really want to be dependent on like your online creation money. Like, don't be dependent on Google, because YouTube is not there to give you money or deal with your ads sort of thing. Like basically like Google AdSense, like the ads that are playing on your videos is in a sense a service of Google that they're offering you, because like they are going out to like contact advertisers to like put ads on their website, but also in front of your videos, and then like they give you money, and you don't have to do anything about that. Just put in your videos. And like some people are like, but yeah, but that's all money that came from like my videos. But at the same time, it's like it's on their servers, and at the same
Yeah.
time, like if you wanna go ahead and like get your own sponsors, you can. But then you'll find how hard it is to actually go out to all these companies and be like, hey, do you want to sponsor my video? Do you want to sponsor my video? I think like the greatest example of someone that does this correctly is Linus Tech Tips, who for every single video has like a sponsor at the start and a sponsor at the end, and like they'll make sure that they'll have their own ad revenue, which Google doesn't have to provide. And I think that is something which is really important to keep in mind, is that if you want to be like self-sustaining, if you want to like make your own, like be your own company sort of thing, you got to make sure that you are the source of your revenue, and you make sure that you care about your revenue. And I think that that's something which a lot of YouTubers tend to forget, or creators tend to forget. It's like, well, I'm really dependent for my entire revenue on Google right now, which has worked out so far, but at the same time, they can do some things like this. And whether they have entire control over that or not, like I'd like to be in control over like most of the things that I do. So I do think that that's important to keep in mind. That said, I do think that Google has, or like YouTube in this current landscape has opened up some very interesting things, where like previously, like you would have to, if you wanted to support like someone that you liked it, or like even if you wanted to watch their content, you'd have to pay. You have to pay to buy a DVD. You have to pay to watch the servers. You have to pay for your TV. And with that, the content was being supported. Now we have this thing where I can go watch a video, I can go watch this stream, but because there's like a little ad that plays like at the start, bada bing, bada boom, like I'm supporting this thing by just watching it, and that's been amazing, because like I can get, like I as a viewer can get to have free content, like I don't have to pay for it straight up front, and I can at the same time support this creator, and even more, like if I really want to, like I can give them money. But now, like if we want to go back to, like if we really want to have creators in control over like their money, like it's gonna go back to like giving the money again. And like not everyone has money, but everyone might have time and views to give. So that is something where it's like, how are you going to ensure that you still have this thing where, hey, it like I can still support someone even if I don't have money, but it won't be in the control of something like YouTube or something like Twitch. And as you say, Twitch definitely does this better, because like there is some ads for bits, so you can watch ads and then donate bits, and like Twitch is a lot more like easier with like generating revenue. But then again, it's also way more centered around making revenue, because you'll have so many Twitch streamers that will say, "Oh, please subscribe to me," and like that means like give me $5. And like which YouTuber starts their video with like, I mean, if they would, if they could, but like which YouTuber starts off with like, "Hey everyone, how's it going? Please give me $5 and welcome to the video," because like that doesn't really happen yet.
No, I agree with you. I do think that it's going to become more and more popular for content creators to plug their platforms, like Patreon and Ko-fi and so on and so forth. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm going to need to do it sometime soon because I am actually making a loss on the Patreon videos. I mean, the whole point is all the money of the Patreon videos goes into towards the editor for the making of my videos, but there's not enough there to make a net zero. And I'm going to have to, do another plug at some point. And it's difficult. This is a difficult time of year because, everyone's affected. People have turned to me and said, like, I've had to stop my Patreon because I've lost my job. And I totally get that, right? I'm lucky I still have my job, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, I am in a position where I'm so vitally important to my company. They can't let me go, right? But it's difficult. What can you do? I mean, hell, if there was a platform which is, just go watch like a gratuitous number of adverts and I could earn money, or like, effectively kind of something like, oh my god, I said watch out for cryptocurrencies and here I am about to say, or if you let your computer work out cryptocurrencies for me, it's really difficult,
Yeah, well, like, the weird thing is that what you find is you either have the option of paying beforehand or paying afterwards. Like optional paying afterwards. So like what you had before the days of YouTube, and like you find it right now with Netflix and stuff. There are services that still do that, and people still buy that, but also less is that you'd have to buy something before you could watch it. You'd have to buy a DVD before you could watch it. And what you find a lot, especially with series, is that like pirating happens a lot, but also a lot of people just don't watch it because they don't have the service. So like if you want to start it as a video creator, it's like you're not going to be able to sell like DVDs or like pay to watch this because like no one knows like what you do or who you are, so that they're not going to find you. They're not going to find you like that. The reason why that worked back in the day is because everyone paid for their TV, and because everyone already paid for their TV, and these TV studios had like advertisement deals and stuff. Like bada bing, bada boom, like you could watch it. You think it was free, kind of like you think like your phone plan is free, but your phone plan isn't free. You pay money for that, but you forget about that. Everyone forgets about that sort of thing until like they find the bill and it's like, oh fuck, I already actually pay money for that. Same with electricity. Like we all pay for money for electricity, but we kind of forget about that because fuck yeah, I have free lights on right now. I'm like,
I assume you haven't told them what happened to me last time.
I haven't told them. I wanted
to
leave that up to you if you wanted to get into it.
So the reason why I last minute bailed out of the last Framecast I was going to be in, because I got hit by a £1,100 electricity bill, and it was dated from when I moved into this place to the end of February. And I was like, how the hell do I owe so much money? It's absolutely insane. And I had to go through all this shitty paperwork. It's so bare bones, right? And I noticed that they started billing me from when I moved in, but I was already paying electricity for the first 6 months of me living here. So I should only pay for 1 year of electricity, not a year and a half. And so to just keep everyone apprised of what's going on, I contacted the company. I said, my estate agent was like, I already paid 6 months of this. Why am I paying it again? Oh, you're the only tenant at that property that's actually been, at the apartment complex that actually used to pay electricity. So could you please send us a copy of the bills? Okay, sent them a copy of the bills. Could you also send us copies of the payments? Right now, my bank, right, who will remain nameless in this instance, terrible bank, they will only give me access to 1 year's worth of statements. So like, every month you get a bank statement saying what you've spent, who's the money's gone to, where you've been paid from, so on and so forth. Now my bank would only allow me to go up to 1 year, and it's 1 year, so I couldn't get the statements for the prior 6 months. Right? But I did have the statements from PayPal of when I paid them. The only concern was that the delivery address was my work address, because if I'm ever getting anything from PayPal, I wanted it to go to work because I wasn't going to be at home to receive it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So I literally called up Loz, right? And I said, Loz, I'm concerned if I leave this address there, they might turn around and say, this is the wrong address. But if I censor it out, if I put like a big black box around it, they'll turn around and say, why have you censored out the address? Right. And he was like, don't be stupid. Well, no, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
He was like, don't be stupid. They're not they're gonna be reasonable human beings. They're not gonna have any problems with this. They're gonna see it says delivery address. A week later, I got an email saying, oh, they're not accepting it because it says it's a different address. I'm like, motherfucker. So I sent them another, so it's like, can you prove that this account is for this address? So I had to send my estate agent the letter of me getting this property stating that they would set up the electricity with the electricity provider, that's, all the bills and everything. And I had to put like, this is the bill with the account number and this is the address. I was like, fucking, can no one do their fucking job properly? Seriously.
Don't they have like a system where it's like, hey, we've already gotten money for these mums? You've given them money already. So like they've already received that.
No, I've paid a different electricity provider.
Oh man.
Yeah? And now another one has turned up saying like, you owe us this money. I'm like, but no, I've already paid for it over here. Right? So it's a really draconian system, right?
Yeah.
That every country is built up on, that basically like the different companies have to fight with each other and say, has this person paid you for this electricity? Yeah, they have. Like, oh, okay, well, we won't bill them again then.
Yeah, like
there's no
it's so weird with utilities as well, because like I remember back when I was a little child and I didn't know much about the world, I used to think that if you swap like the provider for you had it for television and telephones, but you also had it for like electricity or whatever, like they would always say like, oh, you have green electricity, or you have the best electricity, the best connection. I'm like, okay, so they probably just like have different connections like that will like they'll have these little like boxes around like your neighborhoods, and then what they'll have is like they'll have like 3 different plugs for like the 3 different providers, and they'll plug you into one, and like the moment they switch they'll plug you into the other because then you're connected. But no, it's all the same network. It's just like you just pay a different person, but like it's all the same. It's a bit of a mess. But I hope you're like have they finally gotten down to accept it, or like is it still a thing?
Oh no! I got an email confirmation yesterday. So like I emailed them back last Friday with the proof. Like emailed me yesterday, last night, saying like, we forwarded this on. It's like, bitch, I emailed you fucking half a week ago.
Lovely. Bring it back to like content a little bit to like the thing that like we were talking about, like how you kind of paid for things like TV. So like watching TV, well, it felt free, but it wasn't. It was paid. So like, what do you do in this online world where everyone kind of expects things to be free? And it's like it's also the best way to grow if people can watch it. Like if you put it on like a closed off platform, if you start making Patreon videos, which are just only closed up for Patreon people, and it's like, well, like not everyone's going to be able to watch that, and the time you spend in that video making that, like that doesn't go to reaching new people. However, at the same time, if you rely on Google to like give you these advertisements, like okay, so then like you're kind of relying on the service, which can kind of go ahead and like just like fuck you in the ass sort of thing. So then you can say, well, Patreon's a great example. Patreon does work, but there is an element to it which I find myself when I'm using it, and that's why like also my Patreon is also set up in like, if you want to give me money, you can, but like I'm not really going to do benefits here because like like I have my channel to focus on. I'd rather like make sure that I outgrow that channel. Is that people pay after the fact, and the thing is like if I put down $200, $300, $400 into like a Patreon of any creator, basically. Like most of the time, like I'm not going to experience better content. I'm not going to be able to save the content. Like most of the time, it's just like my experience will be the same, but like I've given them money, and like most of the time, like that feels good for people because they're like, hey, I've been able to see great content. If I give them money, like it continues the content sort of thing. Like it will allow them to make more content. But at the same time, it is this thing where right now, like the payment kind of becomes optional, and that is a weird, strange situation. And ads have been able to fill that in, but right now, like like the reliance on ads, especially when ads come from these platforms like Google and like YouTube and Twitch, it's like it's a weird, strange situation. I think that we're gonna see maybe a changing landscape over the coming few years, where it's like if you really want to like take this super serious, like you're really gonna have to like make sure that you find a way to like monetize it, and like maybe we see more people push merch, maybe we see more people like push things that you donate to, and maybe we see people more like go after sponsors. But I really have no idea. Like this is a really complex thing.
No, I agree with you entirely. It's like I feel that people need to sort of like band together. Like, you know, you need. It's one of the reasons why I'm inspired so much by Corridor Digital,
Mm-hmm.
or the Game Grumps, you know, Game Grumps, because you know they made content creation a business. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, yeah, Disney have made content creation a business as well. So is Marvel, so is Fox, blah blah. Yeah, the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
But these people have worked out a way to turn the stuff that they love into um you know, a good, fun, enjoyable content creation.
Mm-hmm.
And I I wish that there were opportunities for other content creators that, you know, people that won't necessarily have access to the same resources, right? Because what Corridor Digital did back in the day can't work now, right? They became popular because they made um amateur videos, VFX videos, right? Which were great. But the problem is now that they exist as they do now with some really high professional VFX videos, right? The people that are in their boat now that they were in, I don't know,
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, right? They can't compete with the professional VFX.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what the fuck are the new amateurs supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, like that is definitely a thing, um, which is a bit of an issue right now, where like the standards of YouTube are kind of really really going up. If you take a look at channels like, I mean, take a look at channels like PewDiePie or Blindest Tech Tips, which post
Yeah,
every single fucking day. It's like, well, back in the day, like they did it too, and Jacksepticeye also said that like he did like years where he did like 2 uploads a day. However,
yeah,
I think back then he was still like editing them, and like the editing wasn't all that great because like 2 videos a day, you really gotta crank them out very fast. But
yeah,
now most like big YouTubers have editors, and
yeah,
that like there is a big difference. I can tell you, especially when it comes to gameplay videos and you want to make them look good. It's like I will spend like 2 hours on recording it, and then I'll spend like 6 to 8 to 10 hours on like
yeah,
editing it, because like you're gonna have to go over the footage, and like it saves you so much time. Like versus like spending 10 hours, like an entire like pretty much 2 working days on
yeah.
making a video, versus just 2 hours of recording, then being like, I send it off to you, and then I can go on with my day. Like there is a big difference in that, like being able to like sustain like a healthy work-life balance, and being able to like keep up a certain frequency. However, right now, like there is this competition in this space,
Yeah.
and that is something which there might like. I think YouTube might at some point not be all that much different from TV, where like basically like because the standards become so high, you have this thing where like you have this YouTube perfectionism where things got to look a certain way and got to be a certain way. Also, bless you. Um,
Da-
and like it might be that like a new YouTube comes up again, like where there is a new place where people that just do like their own self-made things. I mean, TikTok in a sense, actually, I don't really want to say that, because TikTok is also like has that really like weird lip sync and like fucking like musically stuff on it. I don't like it all that much, but at the same time, it does have that thing where it's like, well, let's make it like really really short clips, because how much can you really edit in really really short clips? And let's make it vertical so that people have to like film it from their phone, and it's gonna be like this, and no one's really gonna like make something like this, so it becomes a little bit more amateurish again. But at the same time, it's also like very like people spend a lot of like editing stuff on there. Like,
I've got to know, because like, you know, how many people actually watch shorts, like, you know, TikTok or YouTube shorts or whatever on their phones?
I think majority.
You know, I just think like, you know, to me, I'm just like, oh, just shove it on a PC. I've had people say like, you know, could you turn your shorts landscape? I'm like, I can't because YouTube will not recognize it as a short,
Well,
right? YouTube will just keep it away from the shorts algorithm if that's
yeah.
the case.
But that's what I think, like what shorts are going for, and that's also why I think that TikTok has such insane views, and why I think that these views that come from TikTok aren't really all that much, like you can't translate into YouTube views, is because
Mm.
like they're very much like made for you to have your phone in your hand, just like swipe along, swipe along, swipe along, swipe along, kind of like you're swiping memes or like looking at tweets, and like every single time like
Mm.
you swipe along, like you'll count as a few, but I mean like you're not really engaged with it. So like that is something where it's a way different culture also in the sense of like I mean look at Twitch, like views on Twitch are very hard to compare to YouTube as well, because like watching an entire Twitch stream like is way different than watching like one YouTube video. So there is much difference between them. I'm just really curious when it comes to the future of these platforms, especially when it comes to like the future of these creators that want to be serious about it. Is like I think that we've had this big change couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, where people were able to make money off of this. And I think that the next step is going to be that they need to be able to like control it, like control their own thing, like have their own control over what they do. Because we've seen with channels like Leafy's here, who like channels with 5 million subscribers just like vanish out of thin air, like one day to the next. It
Yeah.
basically shows that like you don't have control over your channel, and like if you have a channel which makes millions of dollars, like I think that the time is come or is coming very close that creators realize like, hey shit, I have something which is earning me millions, but basically I put it in the hands of someone that can just take it away and doesn't want to speak with me, doesn't need to speak with me at all, and they can just like make that vanish. That doesn't really seem like the best idea. Maybe I should invest in making sure that I control what I what I make and where my money comes from. But at the same time, if you put it on your own website and you don't have that reach of YouTube, so you need to find a way to like make sure that you have that reach, but at the same time being controlled. And I think that that's going to be like the next question for like online social media, especially when it comes to creation and like making money off of it.
Mm. Should we go on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's very briefly touch on this. This is not going to be all that long. This was just something which I thought was funny to see. So, Roblox. When was the last time you heard about Roblox?
What's Roblox?
Ah, yes. So Roblox was kind of like this thing, which is kind of like after Minecraft or Fortnite. Like this thing, I think between Minecraft and Fortnite was this thing which was like, oh, super, like the kids thing. It's kind of like a sort of like Minecraft sort of thing where like it's a game which allows for a lot of building blocks, where people can create their own servers, and every single server is like their own thing, and it's kind of like Lego meets Minecraft sort of thing. It's
Right.
weird. I've played it a couple of times. Not that much. I played it once or twice and I was like, fuck it. It's not for me. But there's also a reason why, because like 56% of the people that use Roblox are under 13 years. So they're kids. It's a kids game. However, Roblox, this kids game, just went public yesterday and ended up with a stock price of $69, nice, and 50 cents. This put their value at $38 billion on the first day of going public, past EA, which is valued at $37 billion, and Ubisoft, which is only valued at $8 billion. Roblox allows developers to make games for Roblox itself, where 70% of the Robux, which is like the premium currency that is spent on the games made by the developers, is shared with them as well, resulting in last year 1,250 developers making around making at least $10,000 last year, and 300 of them making over $100,000 last year. So yeah, as I said, like 56% of like the Roblox users are under 13 years of age, and last year like Roblox massively benefited from like the lockdowns that boosted up the users by about 40%. So they've been doing good last year, and apparently their stock has been going strong as well for the first day. So
Fucking hell. Well, I mean, good on them. All right. Just point number one, good on them. Um It's not that surprising that the stock just overtook companies like EA and things, because like, do you know why every movie is pretty much a PG-12 now?
kids are
Kids.
profitable.
Yeah, you know, so like watching how kids put pressure on their parents. Oh, mommy, buy me X action figure, right? You know, toys sales dictate the production of kids TV shows,
Yeah.
right? Like there was the 2011 oh god, Thundercats cartoon. I fucking loved that cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
right? Absolutely well made. It was brilliant, but it got shut down because the toys weren't selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, they effectively ultimately spend shit tons of money.
Yeah. What
Uh, yeah,
what I also feel is that like we might be seeing like a generation shift where as compared to like older generations where most of the time like the traditional household would have one of the two parents working and the other of the two parents like at home, being able to like kind of supervise what the kids were playing because they were playing like standard games because like no one really like the internet wasn't the thing. Right now we're moving over to like at least here like I'm seeing like it's so much more common that both parents are working full-time jobs, and you just have this thing from like very early on age where they're just like, here, have an iPad, go watch, play, and entertain yourself with the iPad. Here, have a phone, go watch and entertain and play yourself with the phone. And if the kid then comes up like, can I have a couple $100 to like spend on this, or like maybe they just like link up the credit card and it's like the kid just goes
yeah,
tapping away like tap 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 tap. They're just like, oh, whatever. I mean it's fun for him. It will probably be like useful. I mean like there were stories I've read them on the internet where like people would be working at like game stores and kids will be coming up with their parents with like a fee-bucks card for Fortnite, and then like the employee would just be telling the parents like, that Fortnite is free, right, and this is the premium currency, and they just be
yeah.
like, what? Yeah, like it's a free to play game. This is just for skins and stuff, and the kid would just be mad because I mean they just told their parents, can you buy me a $60 game? And I think that kind of shift in like I mean like when back when my grandparents grew up, like basically when you were like a kid like 10 years old, like your dad would just tell like, go to work, like just I found your job, get to work, and then when you came home he just took all of your money. Like that was a far end of an extreme back then, and like I think over the years generations have changed, and like right now it might be this situation where basically like because of like the situation that we sit in, like kids are just like given this thing which is all about money. Like all these games are very much focused around like get me my money, like microtransactions, whoo, and the parents are very willing to give their kids money, and it's just a really profitable thing.
Crazy.
Yep. I mean, like Epic actually wants to have a sweet part of that pie too because they bought me a Mediatonic, like the guys after behind Fall Guys. So
Oh yeah, I was aware of that.
yeah. By the way, one
Yeah.
thing which I find very fascinating with Fall Guys is how like amazing it shot into popularity and how much it has fallen off very, very quickly. Like I haven't really heard people talk about Fall Guys more than like, oh, Epic buys it.
I think the big thing about it is that oh gosh, what was it? The big thing about it is that shit, my brain is struggling.
Among Us came along, other things came along.
Yes, no, that literally Among Us came along, and the internet just massively popularized Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to remember who was it that got me to what. I think it was the Corridor crew were playing Among Us, and I was just like, I gotta fucking play this.
Yeah.
I've got actually that's a point. I haven't seen anything from the Node channel in ages. Has YouTube decided to unfollow me on from Node?
I don't
I
know.
wonder if it has.
I do think that Among Us has stuck around for a long time, but has finally like over the last few months kind of like started to wane a little bit, which makes sense because like the thing which I found with Among Us, like when it started out was like this insanely cool thing, and like I still enjoy playing it with the friends because like it was this thing where it's like, oh yeah, let's see what kind of tactics that we can do, and like over time you would evolve, and like first off you start with visual tasks on, and like no one would even know how to use that, and someone at some point someone's like, oh try and do this task, oh it didn't register, like oh you are the imposter because like I can't see that, and it's like oh yeah, like there was this like involvement, and right now everyone kind of knows what it is. I feel like it's been such a long time since they like announced that new map, and like them implementing it. I think if they implemented it or like if they updated it around January, they might have been able to like catch like a second wave of people being like, oh let's go free imposters, 15 people, woo. But now
Yeah.
it's kind of dying off, and like you also see that with like YouTube videos, like the Among Us YouTube videos used to be like really fucking fun, and now it's like I watch another Among Us videos like, oh yeah, the imposter is sus, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool, sweet.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Cool. Well, I think we're done now. We're wrapping up.
Yep.
It's great for the makers of Roblox that they've done this. I hope the developers have had nice hefty payouts.
Yeah.
Probably didn't, but
Yeah, I mean, we'll let's leave that up to like whatever they're doing.
Yep.
I've not played it. I'm probably not gonna play it soon, but I was surprised that like it made so much money, that one single game. Anyway, that's that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the FrameCast 71. We will be back at some point, probably in 2 weeks' time, with another FrameCast. And until then, yeah, I mean, like, have fun. Do what you want. Make sure you go to patreon.com/CasinoGillion if you want to support our lovely Casino right here with his amazing Game Grumps hat on.
Bearded goat man.
That bearded goat man. And make sure you check out his latest Arbiters video. He's got a lovely animation right there. I don't know who made that, but it is so top notch.
Dude, I fucking love that. I was pissing myself laughing as soon as I saw it. Thought it was brilliant.
I was like, I kind of wanted to make more, but the thing was like, I was like, oh yeah, I'll make that, and that's why I told you like, can I do it like Tuesday? Because like I was working on that, and like I was like, okay, I'm gonna start it like Tuesday morning, and like Tuesday afternoon, I was like, fuck. I mean, like I'm not gonna get this done in time. You know what? This is good. This is fine.
This is good enough.
This is good enough. This gets the idea across.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was fun to do as well. So check it out. Let's see. Also, can we expect a lore fit in this format? The casually Casino explained. Do you mean that?
Oh my god. No, you can't. You shouldn't expect anything. You can ask for stuff, but I mean, I'd have to, fork up the money for it and everything, unless my Patreon, nudge wink wink, got particularly larger, and anyway.
Yeah. Let's see. Steph says, then I ask for a challenging boyfriend. For Casino. I mean, like, you can ask, but like, you should probably ask via Patreon, because Patreon.
No, it's because I got those troll build challenges, and I've had no time to do them since I got promoted in my job, and like, yeah, I need to work it out.
We'll find a way. Anyway, go check out youtube.com/CasinoGillion or check out patreon.com/CasinoGillion. And if you want to catch this show and you're catching it right now live and it's like, oh shit, I've missed it. Tomorrow we'll be live on youtube.com/PostmaGames, or we'll be back here at twitch.tv/Postma if you want to catch it live. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all next time for another show. And have fun.
What the fuck is a foreign tax identification number?
I don't know. But
good old Google.